so here's my motor combo that I got in that I decided to try. It's a Surpass Hobby, and it is, if I can get it turned around here, I'll tell you. It is a, I don't know if you can see that or not, a 3300 kV, and the can looks like it fits pretty close to the old motor. So let me get the old motor out here and I'll show you. I got everything in a box over here, so my old motor is right here at the bottom. This is the old motor right here, and as you can see, it's pretty close on its size. If you add in the stubs for the wires in the back here, it's pretty close to the same size. So I know that the circumference is about the same. The only problem is, see these little divots in here? Inside where the motor goes here, they had, I don't know if you can see those or not, but see where those holes are at? That's where they had these mounting pieces of plastic that stuck up, and that's what held the motor in. That and these little ribs on the side. So we're getting rid of the ribs on the side if we have to. I don't think I have to. What I essentially did was I took a piece of paper and I made me a kind of a template here on what the holes were that I wanted to use. So basically I just want to use the bigger holes there so I can put a bigger screw in there, and then I just took and mounted this guy up here because it will slide right in. Kind of hard to do it one-handed, but it will slide right in, and then I put basically my little crappy template on there and took care of my holes. So then I just took a pick and I just very lightly, I did it with a butane torch, just heat up the end, kind of punctured through just a little bit, took that out, and I basically just enlarged it with the same method. Used a butane torch and that little pick and just kind of enlarged the holes a little bit. The holes may need to be going bigger. I don't know yet, but I don't want to get them too big in case the screw that I find the fit is too small. So that should take care of the mounting. So let's take a peek at this all together. Let me get it together here. Alright, so as you can see, it does fit in there very well. It is a nice fit. It's not a tight fit, which is not what I wanted anyway. I wanted it to be a little bit on the loose side, because I'm going to use the plastic back here for mounting. Now, let me take this back apart here and I'll show you a couple other things here that you really have to be careful about. Okay, so this is the other half. This is the half with the motor in it. Basically that's your shaft on there. So I have to find something that's going to mate up to these plastic gears. Unless I want to change out the plastic gears, which I do not have any others. And not only that, I don't know if anybody would be able to do that if they were to do this conversion themselves. So I'm trying to make it to something that makes sense for everybody to just basically slap in and go. These plastic gears may or may not last a while. That part I don't know. But we're putting some decent amount of power on there. I'd rather have some metal ones. I'm going to look into options, but I don't know that I have any. So it's going to be one of them deals where I have to kind of figure out what's already there and try to find something that fits that shaft, which I know some of the WPL and WL Toy stuff, sometimes they use that hex type or octagon type shaft for some of their stuff, and down there that looks more or less like a servo gear. If I can get it out here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Kind of looks a little more or less like a servo gear, so I think I can find a metal one of those. Finding the right teeth and size and mod and all that stuff on the teeth and the pitch and everything will be something else. Now the inside is coated with this white greasy stuff. I'm obviously going to be replacing that. I will put my own grease in there. I'm kind of particular on the grease that I use. It's been doing great for me, so it's just what I use all the time on my gears. This seems kind of pasty, so if you get it out, it seems more or less like Vaseline. It's very pasty, and it just doesn't seem like it's got what I'm looking for a gear. This is what I'll be using on my gears on the inside there. I use this on all my differentials and things like that on the outsides. This doesn't go inside the differentials, but anything outside the gears like this, where it's going to be slinging it, I like to use this here. It's a premium red grease. It's got extreme pressure. I think it's some kind of marine grease or whatever. I forget exactly how I run across this, but this has been fantastic. It stays on the gears pretty good. It gives it enough slick and lubrication. Nothing gets real hot or anything like that. So it's what I like to use. It's what I've found the best so far. So that's what I'm going to use in here. I'll get all that stuff scraped out, and then I'll put some of this in here. Now the combo that I bought here obviously came with that motor and a little ESC. So we're going to have to come up with something as far as a way to mount this somewhere. And as you see, I bought kind of a small profile one. I did that on purpose so I can hopefully fit it underneath the, well, I'll show you. So here's the car itself, and it's just kind of sandwiched in there. And you got this little body piece right here. So I basically want to fit it either somewhere underneath here. There's like a plastic piece that comes up with a cage. Let me see if I can find that piece. Kind of hard with everything, just kind of sprawled out. So here's the bottom part where the electronics go. So somewhere on the top of that, and this little piece right here goes on the top. So as you can see, it's kind of thin. Not a lot of room to go in there, but I don't mind cutting the top of that. I'm okay with that. Because like I said, it's a toy grade, and we're trying to turn it into a hobby grade. But I want to make it somewhat simple to where somebody could go buy this thing from Walmart, buy this part, couple things that they can do to it, and they're ready to rock and roll with something decent. I've never had too many problems with the smaller Surpass Hobby stuff, and I say smaller because the bigger stuff like 10 scale and stuff, some of those I have had a couple issues with. One of them burnt one of my cars down, but the smaller stuff I haven't had too many issues with. So I do actually like these, and this is what I decided I was going to try. So that's what we're going to try to put in here. We'll get all this stuff cinched down. I got to find some screws and stuff that'll actually fit that first. Then we'll get the differential back together after I put my grease and stuff in there. That'll be part number one. Then what we'll do is we'll take and find a way to mount our ESC, and then we'll have to put some sort of a receiver in here. I don't think I can use the old controller. It's basically a toy is all it really is. I don't like it anyway, even if I could use it, because it doesn't have proportional steering or any of that stuff, and we're going to be fixing all that. So I don't know how many parts is going to be on this video here, but we still have a lot of work to go. I got to figure a couple things out first, but this is basically the motor setup that I'm going to use and how I did it. So I still have to figure out the steering and a mount, and then some arms for it to where it's actually proportional, so I can, you know, have more than just on or off. I don't like that. So anyway, that's it for part number one here. We'll just keep plugging at this, guys, until we figure it all out, and do a little bit at a time here. And if you got any suggestions on things, maybe you know better grease, maybe you know where I can get some of these gears at, yeah, just post them up here, and I'll definitely look into them and see what I can find, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. So I think we're on to something here with this little ESC and motor, and I think it's going to work out really good. Only thing that I'm worried about is those plastic gears. Those plastic gears operate this octagon type shaft, and if you, I don't know if you can really see in there, there is a, maybe I can get it out of here, because this is just like a bushing, and I don't really like bushings anyway. I was looking for a flanged bearing. Maybe I can find one of those too. So basically it just rides on this little guy here. Kind of a crappy setup. You can already see it's kind of like a little rounded on the end. I mean, I'd rather have something better, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. We'll try it that way, and you know, if it fails or whatever, we can always upgrade it later. I mean, that's the beauty of this here. We can just get something to start with and then go from there. So this also has another little bushing type thing in here. A lot of these bushings, I mean, they're great for going in water and stuff, but it's going to create drag. But on something like this where you got plastic gears and stuff, I'm not so worried about that. I'm kind of anal about things like that, so I'll probably eventually do it. I don't know that I'm going to do it this time around. I'm trying to keep it as cheap as I can. I just feel like that's what everybody's going to be looking for. So we'll see what we can do with it, and I'm still going to look for some sort of bearings or something for this, because that will drive me nuts. But yeah, on part number 2, we'll try to do something about the ESC, and maybe we'll start working on the servo if I can figure out a mounting system for it, and we'll start plugging away on this and do a little bit at a time until we get it all done, guys.